In this video we're talking Serato stems, MIDI mapping and my performance pad setup. Let's do this. Having buttons all over the place, jumping to here, pressing this to open this and doing that in here, and it's too complex when you're in the mix. So this is how I set up my performance pads. Okay then, so I always use just the hot cue section. I don't use anything else other than the hot cues. Now I've left this side set up and I've deleted everything on there so that I can show you later on how to map how I work. So the first hot cue then is literally the first hot cue you would use 9 times out of 10 for the first part of your track. So that's that one. The second hot cue I always use as a transitional a feature in the track that I'm going to use a little bit later on, so that'll come into something like a loop or something where I can loop later on if I want to. Now then, button 5 we're going to jump to next, and button 5 is a place where you can set for when a vocal is coming in, so you know when you're mixing from another track and you haven't played that track for a while or you've just forgotten, you can just see up on the screen exactly where the vocal is going to come in. And the same with button 6, that is another hot cue, just a cue point really, so that you can see where the vocal ends at the end of the track, so you know that you can mix a vocal in at that point if you need to. Moving back up onto the top row then, button 4. Now this is mapped to the stems functionality, so as soon as I hit that top button, we're going to lose the vocal with an echo out. If we then look down to button number 7, this will remove just the percussion and the kick. We turn it back on, move up to button number 8, and that removes everything apart from the vocal with an echo out. Now, if you want to leave the kick and the vocal in at the same time, you still don't have to go anywhere because they've also been mapped in a way that I can remove both at the same time just by pressing both buttons at the same time. And then you've removed the melody and the bass line, leaving just the vocal and the drums. As you may have noticed, I've missed out a pad. I missed out pad number 3, and this I always leave clear because there's always different things coming in and out when you're working on mixers and controllers and stuff, especially when you're in software. So I always like to leave a button free, just so that when something new comes out, or if I've decided I like a different thing to be there, I've got that button always free for me to do something with. So here's how I mapped my performance pads. Firstly, you want to go up to your settings. You want to click on the MIDI section tab, and you're going to select your controller or whatever you're using. You're going to make sure the Allow Serato Hardware Remapping is ticked. And once that is ticked, you are good to go. So click back on the cog again, get rid of the settings, come over to the left-hand side and you'll see MIDI next to link. And you'll be able to click on MIDI. And there you'll be able to edit every single button that there is in Serato. But we're just sticking with the stems. So if you want to remove just the vocal and you want to do it with an echo out, that's easy enough. You just click on the echo out button and then select whichever button you want to do that. We're going to go with that one. And then if we click back on the MIDI button, we can then see if it works, just to check. Yep, that works brilliantly. So there we go. Simple. That's the way to remap any button on your controller with your Serato software. So now you know how it's done, I'm going to show you how I set up my performance pads. Okay then, so we've already got our vocal out with an echo. So let's add a performance pad to remove the melody, bass line and the percussion. Head up to the top left hand side again and click on MIDI. And you want to remove just this one. This one will take everything out apart from the vocal with an echo out. So if we select that button, and then press on the button you want to activate it, which in this case is button 8. There we are. That has remapped to that button. So now we've got the vocal out with an echo on button 4. And on button 8, we've got an echo out for the rest of the elements of the track, bar the vocal. So then, now we need to set up a button so that we can have drums in or take drums out if we so wish. So what we're going to do here is click on button 7 before we go into the MIDI settings. Click that button so you know it's already on. We're going to go back up to MIDI and we're going to select drums, just the on-off button. And then we're going to press that button 7 again. And then when we close that, we can now press button 8 to get rid of everything bar the vocal, and press button 7 to bring the percussion and the kick drum back. Now, if you're playing your track and everything's playing and you want to get rid of the melody and the bass and just leave the kick, percussion and vocal, just press 7 and 8 at the same time, and there we go. So there we are, that's how I set up my performance pads all in one section, nice and easy to get to when you're in the mix. Now it may take you a little while to learn where all the buttons are exactly. It took me probably a week to learn this setup, and it's taken me quite a few months to get this setup right for me. So there we are, that's how I set up my performance pads. Everything all in one section. You don't need loads of hot cues unless you are in the clubs and you need like 4 hot cues to play specific routines. But for this sort of DJing, you only need 2 and a couple of cue points just to see where your vocals come in and out. That just gives you enough space to play with stems all on the same section. That's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you do, however, set up your performance pads slightly differently, or you've got some interesting techniques, then do let us know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, then please do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for the channel for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.